What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the first proper physique update from the defending Tampa Pro champion Jon Del Rosa. So he was missing so much from the entire social media during all this time since the Olympia last year up until he made the announcement that he is going to return to defend his Tampa Pro title, which is happening this weekend. So we weren't even sure that he's gonna compete this year at all. So here the man is right now, 2 days out of his first show of the season, looking very flat, very depleted. And this is the least impressive look of Jon that we have seen in quite some time. So the experts out there, they have Jon winning this show based on his look from the Arnold Ohio last year and the Olympia look. But I must say the man looks very small here and also very underwhelming, especially in these updates. And we have to keep in mind, he's gonna be standing next to some of the most beautiful physiques in the entire men's open at the moment, like Quentin Beastwood, Justin Shire, some guys who come in absolutely ripped, like John Jewett, Jordan Hutchinson. So some of those physiques are so eye-catching, and they have such beautiful lines, such crazy proportions. And we know Jon Del Rosa is gonna have a lot of problems, especially in the first 2 shots, the front double and the front lat spread. So Jon has been competing as a pro for more than a decade now, and in my opinion, it kind of seems like his quads have taken a serious hit this year. So looking back at some of his versions when he started his pro career, that paints a great picture on how massive his quads were back then. His quad returns were absolutely insane because of that massive quad sweep. But right now it kind of seems like that is no longer even close to that. Now one thing is certain. He's gonna be dug out and come in absolutely ripped. As you can see, he still has a lot of detail with no pump. And also the fact that he must be running on very low carbs right now. So his body, his physique might come back to life once they introduce some carbs. And his coach Patrick Tour, we all know he's a master of taking his athletes 100%. So the show is still 2 days away. And we have to keep in mind, Jon is never one of those guys who looks very impressive in his progress updates. So we will see how that pans out on the stage. Well, let me know what you guys think. Can Jon successfully defend his title? Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So the most anticipated battle in classic physique is going down today between Niall Darwin and Matheus Menegate, and both these guys have checked in and successfully made weight for this year's Tampa Pro show. So I was really curious on how much Niall weighs, as this is gonna give us an idea on how much more room for growth and how much more muscle he can put on, because he made some tremendous improvements from the Olympia last year till this point. So he weighed 2 pounds below his weight cap. So just a little more room to grow, to wiggle around with. So this battle is particularly important because these 2 guys, they are being considered the future of classic physique. So Matheus, who placed top 9 in the world last year, versus Niall, who was top 11 at the Olympia last year. They have shown us some tremendous potential. So the conditioning of Niall, that is out of this world. And he must have been very flat when these final pictures were taken post his last workout. And that was in Tampa. Now as far as Matheus is concerned, throughout that most part of his prep, it kind of seemed like, based on his physique updates and all of his progress pictures, that he might be running a bit behind on schedule. But the man changed very fast in these last 3 weeks or so, and the man was ready to make the weight. So very unique physique right there. Great aesthetics top to bottom, amazing lines, and it's also built very thick and very dense. And he made the weight on the dot. So this is gonna be a very close fight, considering almost all these classic guys, they bring an elite level of conditioning and they always show up 100%. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys have winning? So back in the 90s, those sunken in face, they were very prominent. Those cheekbones were a big visual indication on a guy being in a top level shape and being absolutely ripped. So look at this dead face of Kevin Levrone at the Arnold 1996. Now we do not normally see that anymore. But looking at the face of Patrick Moore, just one day out of this year's Tampa Pro show. It's looking very close to that era. Now that right there is a true diet phase. So we haven't really seen Patrick Moore making top 5 in any of the predictions for this year's Tampa Pro. And maybe he's being a bit overlooked here. But his physique updates, they look very promising this time. So the man is looking very big, very round, like he has never looked before. And we have to keep in mind, he's trying to find that right balance, that perfect balance, where he doesn't find himself too small or too smooth in this kind of deep lineup as he goes for more conditioning. Or he doesn't lose that skin quality if he tries to come in too full. So Patrick Moore is one of those guys in this lineup who is a multiple times Olympian in the past. And he's carrying some momentum after placing second at the Legion Sports behind Tonio Burton. And for Patrick, even that wasn't his best ever. And the way he timed that peak, that could have been a lot better. Now we all know Patrick Moore isn't gonna be one of the biggest guys, but he's gonna have one of the most beautiful physique up there. So Patrick has worked with so many coaches over the years. But it turns out him coaching himself, that is turning out to be a very good decision. So can he win this show? Well, not in case where everyone shows up at 100%. But we are curious to see how much better he can get compared to what we saw at the Legion Sports earlier this year. So the next big thing from Egypt, Mohamed Foda checks in at 285 pounds and shockingly looking very big and also very lean for that high of a body weight. So whatever plan his current coach, Patrick Tour has laid out for him, that is definitely working. And it was the biggest surprise for all of us when Foda decided not to compete after Dubai Pro Show because he could have won Italy Pro Show and qualified for the Olympia this year. Now it is pretty clear that Foda wanted to have a proper off-season, a full-fledged phase for the growing season with his new coach, and most importantly, make some very noticeable improvements, especially in his back area, because it was just his back which hindered him from placing higher than 5th in Dubai Pro. So the judges gave him a very fair shot, comparing him to the champ Barros Tabani and the other top guys, up until it was time for the back shots. And that is when they pulled him to the side. But that being said, he was still able to beat Rubial in that show. So he could have certainly qualified for the Olympia, considering the fact that Rubial, he won the show in Italy. But here the man is now 100% focused on improving this year and making a great comeback sometime next year. Now Foda has already been on the Olympia stage, and that was last year. And if he is able to bring up his back, he's gonna shoot for that Olympia top 10, which has always been his goal. So after facing a great challenge from the mutant Nick Walker at this year's Pittsburgh Pro, especially in the one shot, which was supposed to be a lights out pose for the reigning Arnold champion Derek Lunsford, and that was the back double biceps. The man is pushing some serious amount of weights when it comes to his back workouts. So it was such an awesome moment when Derek made his men's Open Olympia debut back in 2022, and more specifically when he hit that back double biceps. And since that moment, that back was regarded as one of the best back double biceps since Phil Heath. But that crown might have been taken away from Derek by the mutant Nick Walker at the Pittsburgh Pro, as some of the judges, they had Nick beating Derek in that pose. So he's gonna have to step up his game, and that is exactly what the man has been doing since the Pittsburgh Pro this year. So how crazy is that? That all the 3 top Olympians, Derek, Hardy and Sampson, they are training in their own private gym, and this is supposed to bring the best out of all of them. Now I know there are a lot of naysayers out there in regards to Derek, but let's take a look at some of the facts. The man has been the most successful bodybuilder of this year so far. And if his goal of becoming Triple Crown, winning all 3 big shows of this year, Arnold, Pittsburgh Pro and the Olympia, if that comes true, then that will be one of the greatest run by a bodybuilder in all of bodybuilding history. Because no other Mr. Olympia lost that title, came back, won the Arnold, and then went on to win the Olympia too. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.